60 to 90 days.
Yeah.
Truly? That's how quickly you can
We build
deliver?
offices, yes.
Right.
I mean, I'll just give you a crazy example. We've also built an office in 43 days. So
We are building almost 3 to 5 million square feet a year. So we've perfected it so much that everything is like a assembly line. The designing, the compliances, the build, the operations, the sustenance teams, all happens like clockwork.
But, as complicated as it sounds, running so many functions, really the magic is the tech platform that we've built. And now we've just, in fact, recently got some guys internally and externally to create a very robust AI layer on top of that to make it even more easier for people to run the organization. Those days are gone where people were coming to India for cheaper solution when it comes to real estate. India, tier 1 city is not a sub-dollar market anymore.
Not at all. There's a 3-letter word, GCCs, which is powering India's office real estate today. And if you've missed that news, then you need to hear these headlines. GCCs see rapid growth in India. 70% of Fortune 500 companies eye expansion by 2030. FM Nirmala Sitharaman pledges all necessary support to boost GCCs in India. Now, GCCs are essentially global capability centers set up by Fortune 500 companies like Meta, that's Facebook, Google, Microsoft, JP Morgan. And what do they do when they set up offices in India? They hire local talent and they could do a gamut of services. It could be just plain simple support, IT support, accounts, and it could also be higher end work like R&D and also AI related work which is happening right now in India. And one company which is actually making it possible for them to come set up here and get up and running fast with efficiency and at scale is Tablespace. You saw me walking in with the founders or co-founders of Tablespace, Karan Chopra and Kunal Mehra. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thanks,
for
Manisha.
helping me understand, and that's my agenda today, for helping me understand this space and what does it take to win in this market.
Firstly, thanks for the introduction and it's lovely to meet you today.
Yes, lovely.
So yeah, I think you're pretty right in terms of GCC. It's been a exciting journey for us over the last 8 years. And just from a numbers perspective, I think we are give or take about 1,800 odd GCCs in the country today. I feel the numbers say that, the reports say that we're looking at a 30-40% growth over the next 3 to 5 years. And we are very, very, very well equipped to sort of help the entire GCC industry grow, not just from a real estate perspective, but also providing them multiple different services in order for them to come and set up in this country.
Okay, so I will come to what exactly do you do, break it down for all our viewers. But Kunal, tell me, so the growth looks like it's on steroids. And you are the two who are behind the steering wheel. And I must confess, this is the first time I'm interviewing co-CEOs. How do you share that steering wheel?
I mean, the good part is, Manisha, is that when we started this firm, we were very, very clear of our strengths and weaknesses. So there's some things he can do which I can't, and there's some things I can do which he can't. And we have a very clear understanding about that. So that has really helped us devise our, responsibilities in the firm. And the best part about, us doing this together is we have our common vision and goal of where we want to be 3 years, 5 years, 10 years hence. So that just unites us. And yes, there are times when we have disagreements, which is a good thing. I can always say yes and he can always say no, it can work either ways. But then we always have a common ground at the end of it. I think that's the most
strong takeaway from what Kunal said. I think sharing a common goal and a common vision sort of helps you move away from disagreements and work towards the goal. And not just us, I think our entire ecosystem in our firm is built in a manner where everybody thinks alike. our entire leadership team, us, we're all co-workers, right? End of the day, we all work together for one single goal. Number one, obviously, client, which is experience. Client should be happy. Everything else aside, forget everything else.
Okay,
And
so big goal.
number one is the client. So our entire strength, our entire bandwidth, all the people together work so that the client walks away happy.
Okay, so let me then ask you my next question. I'm a Fortune 500 company. I want to come into India. Take, let's say, 1 million square feet and hire 10,000 people today to run that business, my GCC. What would you do for me?
So I break it down for the viewers as well. Essentially, what do large companies do when they come to India, right? They come to India largely for talent, right? And what Tablespace does is we provide the entire underlying real estate for them to function in office where the talent sits. Now, when the talent sits in a particular area like you saw today, they require a space which talks to them. So the experience when they come into the office, when they come and work every day, should not feel like something that you don't want to do. So we create an office for them. We create an end-to-end solution for them. We take over the lease from the landlord. We invest capital upfront. So we make it easy for them. Instead of them investing capital, we invest capital. And then we run the entire operations for them for the entirety of the contract as well. Not just that, we also provide them the overall service with respect to talent hiring, GST registration.
Oh, you do that bit as well?
Yes, and we help them to set up their entire office in the country, not just the real estate part, but now in the recent few months, we've also started adding services like talent, registration, compliance, governance, tech, marketing as a service. So the overall service required for a large GCC to function in India, we provide them end-to-end solutions.
Okay, so I'm going to, for you, Kunal, I'm going to flip the question. I'm going to say yes, a client first. Let's say I'm working in one of the offices which is being set up by Tablespace and being run, that experience is being run. How would my experience be different? Because this is a very competitive space. There are at least 10 large players in this space, right? How would my experience be different if I was at a TS office versus any of your competitors?
I think the first part is, Manisha, that's come down to 5. There were 10, now there are 5. And I think that is just, the men from the boys are going to get separated as we progress even more. So maybe it'll be 3 or 4 operators who will just...
There will be a shakedown in the industry?
Little bit, just a little bit. Because, see, this is a very capital intensive business. And if you don't do it in the right way and fashion, you can't just switch off the way of operating. It's not an e-commerce business, right? So obviously, there have to be a very thought through process on how you are growing the company, getting the right customers, investing the capital, and ensuring that they all stick together. So I think that differentiation will happen to a certain extent, a little more.
Okay.
Now, coming back to your question of how are we different? So the entire, as Karan said at the beginning, the entire approach is customer first. So we created a technology platform that seamlessly integrates the entire experience, from getting the real estate to building it as per their specifications. So if a Microsoft or a Google wants an office with us, it's exactly how the office would be anywhere else in the world. So there is absolutely no differentiation. So that feeling of creating the same culture in any part of the country in 60 to 90 days and achieving that speed is unparalleled. So that can't be matched at all. Our service level agreements with the clients are exactly the same. So how a coffee is served in their Palo Alto office is it served in our Indian offices for them. The level of cleanliness, the compliances that are followed all over the world within their system is followed by us. The same brands that they use around the world are used by us. So it's a seamless office for an employee to come in and see. He would feel that he's working in his Palo Alto or London or New York office as he's working here. So our entire objective is to create that seamless experience for the customer, because we want to be their integrated service provider throughout the country. So we don't want to differentiate our services, what they've already created. They are 100-year-old, 50-year-old companies who create a culture, right? We have no right to come in and change that. So we replicate that experience with the better service.
I never thought of it from that angle, that, any office globally to be able to replicate that same culture. So I feel like I'm part of this huge conglomerate, and that's when I really feel proud about walking into a workspace.
Exactly. Yeah, I think gone are the days where people are coming to India to really, really save cost. Today, they want the best assets, and we predominantly work only in grade A assets. That's our from
Grade A office
from
assets,
day-
which you lease from developers, right?
yeah, from grade A developers. So our intent has always been from day one to lease a grade A office. So I think those days are gone where people were coming to India for cheaper solution when it comes to real estate, and we also largely function in that domain itself.
But real estate is, even in tier 1 cities today, much cheaper than, let's say, a New York.
Yeah, but, I mean, you're talking
but that's
dollar versus
not primary.
But you're
for them.
talking dollar versus rupee also, right? So that's but from a rupee standpoint, it is grade A asset and it is on the higher side in terms of rent, which is what people are willing to pay. One of the days of sub-dollar market, India tier 1 city is not a sub-dollar market anymore.
Not at all.
Right?
Not at
Somewhere it's $3, $4, something like that. People are willing to take that because they want to provide a better experience to their employees, right? And while, like Kunal rightly said, though we bring the entire culture, the entire aspect of how they function in the other country into India, but on top of that, because we've got a very large set of designers who actually try to Indianize that entire look and feel. So if you're in India, so we obviously give that Indian touch. So an office in Bangalore looks slightly different than office in Delhi, slightly different than office in Hyderabad, because you want to give the local flavor, because the employees belong to that city or to that country or to that state. So that is something that we really,
And
really...
it is. They are coming for the talent.
Yeah.
The talent also
So
needs
they need to
be
feel
connected.
at home. At the same time, they need to feel connected to the large global culture of the organization. Yeah.
Nice. Very interesting. So I heard something which has caught my attention. 60 to 90 days.
Yeah.
Truly? That's how quickly you can
Rebuild
deliver?
offices, yes.
Right.
I mean, I'll just give you a crazy example. We've also built an office in 43 days. So,
Really?
yeah.
Can you name the client or no?
We'll take it offline. Yeah. Yeah.
43
And but the client, if the client is hearing, he knows that.
43 days. Wow. So then my question is, Kunal, why would a global multinational even try and do it by themselves, right? Are they still doing it by themselves, or they're mostly outsourcing it to
I mean, I
credible
think
players?
the shift is very evident and clear now. When occupiers came in, they tried to do this on their own. They would take 6 months to design, 7 months to build, another 3 months for getting the compliances in place. We've compressed all of that. And how we are able to do that is very simple, right? We are building almost 3 to 5 million square feet a year. The economies of scale that we provide in terms of getting the right price for the product, getting the designers in-house that we have, getting the right compliance teams, getting the HSE teams, all that is already geared up within our system to just perform.
Okay.
So it's like, I mean, we're building an iPhone, right? We're just bettering it. We have all the ecosystem in place and we just put it together. For an occupier, this is not his iPhone. He has to do an R&D for his product. He has to do, software testing. He has to do, solve some meta problem in some part of the world. But this is our job. So we've perfected it so much that everything is like a assembly line. The designing, the compliances, the build, the operations, the sustenance teams, all happens like clockwork. So that's why the speed is achieved. I mean,
Are
otherwise
they
you
a
can't
piece
do
of scale as well in terms of
Very
for the
much.
client? There is
Absolutely.
lower, I mean, their capital doesn't get locked in. Is that something that plays?
The economies of
right?
scale comes largely from large-scale procurement and pre-negotiated costs, because we are almost guaranteeing close to 3 to 5 million square feet of buying of material every year. So we have pre-negotiated rates not only with suppliers in India, but also suppliers outside of India.
Right.
And because we are able to buy in bulk and buy at large scale, whereas a single time occupier probably who's building a 500-seater office is buying 500 chairs, for example, but we are buying 30,000 chairs. So that benefit of cost that we get, we provide that benefit back to the client, and hence we promise the client that we will end up being much more cost effective if they were to do it.
So not
themselves.
only time efficient, but also cost effective.
Yeah.
And basically hassle free.
Yeah,
right?
and
to take away
also, if interesting fact is that last year and this year itself, more than 40% of our growth has come from repeat business, repeat clientele. So what happens is, the beauty is that the learning only happens once. For example, some of the names that you took are also our clients. We do a learning session with them only once, let's say for the first project, and they were to now build an office across the country. They just work with us and we can deliver that in a much shorter span because the learning has already happened. The culture is already understood by us. Now we have to just replicate that and build it in Pune or in Hyderabad or in Chennai. And hence we are able to do it much faster as well.
So Kunal, let me ask you, what I'm hearing is that tier 1 cities, grade A assets, that's where you want to be. Now, in the recent budget, Finance Minister said that we want to create these city economic regions and move the population economics and the job creation into tier 2 cities. What are your plans?
See, I think, Manisha, the overall objective of why IT did so well in tier 1 cities is there was migration happening from tier 2 towns, right? People wanted an aspirational lifestyle of coming to a Bombay or a Delhi or a Gurgaon and work and, come out of the small ecosystem that they had. But a lot of large ITS companies tried to follow this reverse migration where they created large self-owned campuses like in Infosys and the TCS of the world and in smaller tier 2 towns. So that didn't really take off the way they envisioned it to. But as we progress, as we see things go by, as time goes by, I think that is starting to happen now again. Because obviously, the political will is there to make it happen even stronger. And that's the right way a country has to grow. You can't just concentrate growth in
The cities
those
are
7
kind of
cities.
getting overloaded with
Yeah. So from that perspective, we are absolutely open. In fact, in our last board meeting, we had this agenda of exploring tier 2 cities as well, where we are helping our existing customers go to tier 2 cities. So we've already done that. We can't take their name. We have an NDA signed. But in Bhubaneswar, we have taken one of our existing customer who's with us in multiple cities throughout the country and created a 30,000 square feet office for them. So that's already started. But how many of these will happen? I mean, only time will tell. But in my view, there would be 3 to 4 tier 2 cities which would actually take off because it needs a lot of focused, concentrated growth. You can't just try and do all the cities because talent is very, very scattered. So it would take some time, but we are completely aligned to that strategy and we will, deep dive more into it as time goes by.
Okay. Now, in terms of what you give or what you provide and how you enable a large multinational corporation or a Fortune 10, 50, 500 company coming into India and setting up, there seems to be a whole host of services, right? Does it stretch you thin to do everything?
The way we function, one thing you should know is that we are not like a standard promoter driven firm. Anything that we do, we get a business head for that particular function. Whether it is to do with construction, design, operations, experience. We've just recently launched food as a service. We've launched a couple of other services for our clients as well. And everything is thought by keeping client right in the middle and then services around it. But for whatever we do, any function we run or we start, we always first get an industry leader to run that function.
Okay.
So it doesn't stretch us too thin from that standpoint. But yeah, I mean, as an organization, you have to evolve, you have to grow. And you need your people need to see you as a leader who's thinking other than what you are doing today, right? So we try to expand in different horizons and with respect to services, but everything that benefits the client, and it is run by their respective function heads. So they all run their own little mini organization, so to say.
Now, I just want to add to what he's saying. Again, I'll go back to the Apple example, Manisha. When the company started, they started Apple One, right? Then they progressed with products. So we're doing the same thing. So they came with Macintosh, then we came with the iPad, the iPhone, iTunes. So we've created the platform of providing grade A, customized, non-customized enterprise solutions for our customers. And then we're adding layers of value. So the customer is the same, but we're just trying to create more value for them in various aspects of, hospitality, of GCC services, of, design build services. So that is the thought. So I don't think we are...
And these add both to the top line and bottom line?
Yeah.
They are accretive.
We're running a business for here. And
No, what I meant is sometimes you just do it for the customer experience, but they may not be as profitable. So I'm saying,
there are some aspects which are
There's
not.
some investments we've made only for customer service. A large part of large functions that we run, which is the design function, which is what Kunal mentioned is the design and build service, or the GCC function, that obviously adds value from giving the right solution to the client, but it does obviously add to our top line and bottom line.
Of course.
But as complicated as it sounds, running so many functions, really the magic is the tech platform that we've built. And now we've just, in fact, recently got some guys internally and externally to create a very robust AI layer on top of that to make it even more easier for people to run the organization.
I must say the robot that we met is very interesting, right? So that's, of course, the tech which is customer facing and every time I enter an office, I have to ask 2 or 3 people before I can land to the right place. So starting with that is
So
interesting.
tech is a very, very important aspect
Mm.
for us as an organization. That's how we started. That's the base we built. And then we started growing the business. And in fact, last month he was in China himself trying to understand and see what are the new, robotics and the new products that have come in which can integrate to the entire office experience. So for us, this is very, very close to our heart. And we completely believe that the scale that we want to achieve can only happen if you have the right technology in place, the right tech-enabled solutions in place with the right teams. The teams is the easier part, but getting the tech right, because it's evolving every day, every hour. So that takes a little bit more of our time.
And
Then
that is one
And
thing.
I've heard that you are quite the tech person. Like you love.
Yeah, because we love to look at what's
Working
new.
with it.
so technology. I love real estate. So
Yeah.
That's fine. Lovely.
So we obviously then we integrate both the things. But tech it's like you've done something great today and you wake up in the morning and suddenly there's something new. And then you try to solve that for your organization, and the next morning you wake up again, there's something new. So it's evolving so fast. So we are also trying to,
Almost like you are left breathless
Yeah.
with the way AI is changing things.
and the same time you also get a little, bothered with, okay, what works for us. So we put something in our mind. We say, okay, let's put this, integrate this over the next month or so, and then let's move to the next one. But we keep evolving, and we keep using tech that benefits, obviously, our organization to function better and more effectively and efficiently, but at the same time to increase the overall experience for the end customer.
Is the customer willing to pay for it? Kunal is my next question, because irrespective of what you say, GCCs come to India for the talent. And like you said, they may not be that concerned now about the pricing, as they're not counting the pennies anymore, but the overall experience, but yet they are cost sensitive. So are they willing to, do they appreciate it, and are they willing to pay when you actually pitch at an RFP stage?
See, I think the first thing that we believe, Manisha, is that value is not driven by cost. And increasing cost doesn't mean value is going to come in, or increasing value doesn't mean costs are going to go up. So we as an organization are very clear in that thought process. So how this actually pans out is one that because of the economies of scale we have, to the example he was giving you on mass procurement, pre-negotiate prices. If you as a customer has to buy a chair for $100, we'll get at 75.
Of course.
That's the price arbitrage that we save. And second, because our base is so large as an organization, we are more than 11 million square feet of operational real estate, touching 12 now. The solutions that we are providing are spread across the entire portfolio. So the cost difference is very marginal because the base is so high.
So
if I have to do this on my own, only for my company, or when you start your GCC of 500 people, obviously it will not justify you because it will be very, very high. But when the base is so large and the value is driven in the entire platform, it's marginal.
Okay, all right. Now, this is one word which caught my attention because what your team told me is that you're moving from managed workspace brand to an institutionalized enterprise workspace ecosystem. Isko thoda samjhaiye.
I mean, it sounds complicated.
It's a long word.
So, when we started back in the day, table space was one service, right? One business which was managed workspace. And when we talk about an integrated ecosystem, is when we say table space is on the top, and then table space provides multiple different services catering to different needs of the organization, right? And we bring it all together using technology and different type of skill sets in people, right? So just case in point, an example I'll give you. If you were to do a pure design and build service, for example, and you were to only do a build for a client where the client spends capital, you just go and execute for them. Largely your job is done. There is no partnership in play. But in our scenario, when we do design and build, which is a recently launched service of ours called Design, DESYN, even if we do a one-time job for the client, because they are our client, they will still get the access to our entire table space ecosystem. So just to give you a few examples, we have 78 odd centers. We have approximately 200 meeting rooms. We have approximately 40 boardrooms. We have approximately 25 training rooms. We've got multiple event spaces. We have multiple cafe spaces. We have multiple dining spaces. So even a DNB client can actually get access to our entire ecosystem, even if he's our one-time client. And we continue to work with them like we would work for a managed workspace client. So we are not just creating one service, we are creating a very large integration of services across all the sectors of commercial real estate. That's just one example. I will give you a few more.
I'm looking at the acronym and saying it's a long
Yeah.
one, but now I get it. I understand how it works.
And similarly, a lot of large clients or mid-sized clients do have challenges in running operations in facility. A facility after handing over, there's a lot of stuff. Give you good, great, bad examples, even cleaning the floor or cleaning the lights or aircon going down. When we started the interview, we had some issue with the aircon. Stuff like that is natural, right? You can't hide away from it, right? Everybody living in their own homes also have these issues, right? So we've developed a white labeled app as well. As part of our service to the client, we give them the app, which is white labeled with their logo, with their requirements, with their SLAs and SOPs. And they can run their entire office using the white labeled app for themselves. And that's part of our partnership. And that's why we call it a partnership, not a one-time solution. We work with them hand in hand for the entirety of the occupancy or the entirety of the contract that they have with the landlord.
Okay. So, Kunal, the whole gamut of services is being provided by Tablespace. But what are the growth ambitions? How do you see the next phase of growth? I mean, I see that the sector itself has a lot of potential. It's going to hit $9 billion by 2030, as the reports say. But how do you foresee growth? And then, of course, I'm going to take Karan's opinion as well.
Sure. So as I was telling you, that the entire principle and thought is that the reason why we created this ecosystem is that once a customer comes inside the ecosystem, we touch every aspect of the offerings that we have, so that he never leaves, right? That puts an entire
And that's why
sustainability.
43% repeat clientele.
Yes, we're trying to take that as up as we can, but yeah, we will got it.
I'm being conservative on media, on the camera, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And the second aspect is that, as you rightly said, that it's 9 billion revenue, but the overall ITS industry generates more than 280 billion a year, right, in terms of revenue. I think that is a big share to all that we have to get into. The absorption in the country has been around 75 to 80 million square feet year on year. We believe this is going to happen for the next 3 years, and there's going to be a supply constraint, so it'll course correct on its own because of reasons of delivery, not because of reasons of intent, right? So that market we still have to touch a lot deeper. So today our entire industry is only around 90 million square feet, right? And the overall India office portfolios are 950 million square feet, touching a billion. So that's the headroom we have to grow. So I believe
My
that
God,
by
that's a
20, yeah, that's a
huge
lot. That's a
headroom.
lot.
Yeah.
So even if we absorb 10% of the market as an industry year on year, which is 9 million square feet, and if we have around 40% market share in that, that's good for us to achieve our 2030 plan of touching 30 plus million square feet from where we are right now. That's one aspect. Obviously, overseas expansion is very important.
It is it?
Yeah, because it's important that we service the customer in every geography, right? So that the stickiness only increases. The thought is that if a customer comes to the Tablespace platform, to the ecosystem, he never leaves, right? Whether if we can service them in Singapore, in Dubai. Now we're exploring Dubai very seriously to start our facility there. We are exploring an acquisition in Philippines, in Asia, and to get out of India and other Asian markets. So the thought is very clear that we have to keep growing where our customer wants us to grow, whether it's tier 2 cities, other Asian markets, American markets, European markets. So we are completely aligned. on
Okay.
that
And
thought.
your
So I'll just
How
put
you
it
aligned?
a little simple that, this is, I know we've all seen a lot of growth happening in GCC and our sector, which is the managed workspace / the serviced office sector, or you call it co-working, which we don't do, but that's the sector really, right? I think it's just the beginning of the ride right now. We've just reached the point that it'll take off from now. So whether we've seen already millions of square feet of managed workspace running across the country or operating across the country, even today we put together and peers put together, we do about 18-20 million square feet a year. I think this is just the beginning right now, right? So the opportunity is huge. And like you asked and Kunal mentioned, is international markets on the cards? Yes, those discussions are ongoing. We are looking at that very seriously as well. There is obviously enough and more opportunity in India as we speak. And
also.
And over the last 8 years, we have really been able to create a very good network with large developers who are obviously.
I was going to ask you, how important is relationship with developers, because there is that slight crunch likely to come up on grade A assets, right?
No, absolutely. The relationships have with developers is extremely important, and all of us work together to make sure that, we
Who are
work
you
hand in
working with
hand.
now?
We work with all the top grade A developers across the country, you name it, whether it's
Rajas,
DLF,
Godrej,
Godrej, everywhere.
Pure,
Prestige.
Embassy, Prestige.
So everyone, and as far as the asset is in the right location and of the right size and of grade A, we're always up for having a conversation. And it's both ways. Even landlords are pretty comfortable having a conversation with us. Yeah.
Okay. So this is a test question. I want to ask you 3 words which define or which actually help you win in the marketplace.
I think number one, I would say, is experience, which is customer focused experience. Number two, I think we are very proud of saying that we've got the best design in the country. When we build offices, they are not just offices, they are an experience in itself. So, best design, and maybe third one, Kunal wants to answer.
I was going to ask Kunal just his 3 independent ones
okay.
and test your steering wheel, co-steering the
See,
company.
the fact is that I might give 3 different and he might give 3 different, that which is great, right? So we have 6, but unique.
But when the vision is aligned at the top, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, coming back to this co-CEO question that you asked in the beginning, I think it's been a very successful model in multiple organizations. Salesforce had it, Netflix had it, Oracle had it.
India में नहीं था ना? India में
We're also getting a
contribute
global.
one
I answer that question. We've always been the first movers.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
And KKR has it. I mean, $100 billion company running with co-CEOs. We just $1.5 billion. We have a long way to go. No, so
Okay, so maybe I just haven't met all those people.
Yeah.
But
There's always the
so
first
it's
time.
nice to be the first time. So massive opportunity, and of course, you all are on a mission to capture the largest market share and big business. Do you get time to reset at all? Do you do anything to actually, have some downtime?
We do. I mean, in the end of the day, we all need to kind of take some time off from our everyday hustle. So yeah, I get to play some golf. I spend some time with my son. So yeah, we get some time off, and then sometimes we travel for work. So we try to extend it by a couple of days. Hang around the city and just come back and just kind of come back to work.
So wherever we can. I think he's being very
Yeah.
modest and kind, actually, Manisha. We don't believe in work-life balance, to be honest. We only have one mission, billions of body bags. So either we take it to the scale we want to, and we will not rest till then. So, I mean, sometimes the new generation we hire, they keep telling us that work-life balance is very important. Sometimes my wife tells me that. And I mean, at home, I can't argue, obviously. But outside, we're very, very clear that, we have to give whatever it takes. And you need to put in the hard hours. You need to burn the midnight oil to build what we are building and to take it to the scale we are at. So I think there is no reset. As long as you work is not,
Feeling like work.
Yeah, feeling like work. Work is fun. So it's just you're having fun 24 hours a day. So we're happy.
Yeah. Do love doing what we do. So, that's what is the real thing. And I do believe that our people who work along with us have a similar sort of...
You can speak to them as well.
Yeah. Maybe after the interview.
I know, I can see a lot of them here. I am going to speak with them, but great.
So really, I think every day is fun for us. Yeah.
All right. So right now, steering the company to the next level, and of course, this massive opportunity that one has in India and global expansion is what you'll focus on. So thank you very much, Karan and Kunal, for speaking with me. One last question. Your advice to anybody coming into this sector on what they should focus on to win in the market space. Let me start with you, Kunal.
Coming into this sector.
Yeah. Are you saying it's exhausted now?
I mean, see, this is a very, how do I put it? It's a sector which requires a lot of, corporate experience, capital, scale. I mean, if I had to do this today, I would not do this. Nor would he. We wouldn't get into this business if we had to do it this year in this scale where the country is. I don't think it would make sense. But if still somebody wants to, burn money and shut shop very soon, they can. My advice would be that just focus on the customer. I think whatever the customer wants, if you can always ensure that you're giving a solution around their thoughts, around their asks, I think that would be the winning mantra. But otherwise, it would be tough.
Karan, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think for anyone who's coming new, firstly, all the best. And of course, we are, we always support, I personally support entrepreneurs. I've been an entrepreneur all my life. So I obviously give my wishes to anyone who's doing something new. At the same time, I think, yes, this business does require, it is not about just spending capex and creating an office where people can come and work. It's got a lot of stuff. We've got EHS, compliance, fire safety, etc., right? Which is very, very important for large organizations. And that is really our strength. And getting that in place on day one to set up a company like this is something which I feel is extremely difficult.
I think that's also your moat now,
Yes.
right? Why, though, if you look at the entire space which has flex, co-working, managed offices, and now enterprise grade institutionalized players like yours, that's what differentiates the men from the boys, right?
Yeah.
That's the one. So it is not, there is a moat for new people.
Of course,
entering,
yeah.
and
So
it's
like
not going to be-
it is not just about creating a restaurant space where people will come and eat. It's about creating an office where people come and work every day. So there is data security, IT security, compliance. There's n number of things.
things to be.
So the people that we have is our biggest strength also, right? Because they come from that background.
And now you're 850 people?
Approximately, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. We've got about 12, 14 odd CXOs in the organization.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
They all come with over 25, 30 years of experience, and they understand the problem of a corporate real estate, of a corporate, right? How they function. So that's really our moat, competitive moat, so to say.
All right, gentlemen, this time really a final thank you.
Thank you, Manisha.
One more question.
I
if you
know
want.
I can carry on the conversation, but I think, yes, I've covered everything that I wanted to. And it's an interesting space. Also, it's a very broad term. So trying to understand the nuances of it and how it really works is what my
I think whenever the business is complicated, it automatically has a entry barrier.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a complicated business, I must say.
Thank you so much for making it simple for at least those Fortune 500 companies to come into India, because they also create a whole host of that environment for research, development, and of course, large scale employment. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks a lot.
Manisha. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.